Good day and welcome to EMTV. In this episode, we will have Hazem Omran as our guest. He has been dealing with an unusual issue. His house is at risk of collapsing. Hazem is one of the evacuated residents of Rotterdam West. But before we start our conversation with Hazem, we will go back to our latest episode where we covered the earthquake disaster in Turkey and Syria. After the earthquake, students and doctors from Erasmus MC acted immediately and visited the zone to help and support the operations there. Süheyl Uyar, a medical master student, has been to Turkey twice to help out. Reporter Winneke Gunneweg spoke to him at the bake sale for Turkey at Erasmus Sport.
We're here with Süheyl, medical student. He just returned from Turkey, where he distributed money they collected for the victims of the earthquake in Turkey. Süheyl, you went there. What do you remember? What was it like?
It was really intensive, unforgettable, and impressive as well. Yeah.
Because you went there, you collected money from people here in Rotterdam, and you went there personally to distribute it. Why didn't you just transfer it?
Of course, that's also a possibility, but we really wanted to do it on our own, and so we made 100% sure. So we were 100% sure of where the money went. Of course, there are lots of organizations where you can donate as well, and of course, I would recommend that too. But we really wanted to do it ourselves. Yeah.
Because how much money did you collect?
We collected almost 52,000 euros. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And how did you distribute? How did that work? Did you have money like in your bag and just in envelopes, or how did that work?
Yeah. So we went with 10,000 euros in cash each. We were with 5 people, and some of the donations came afterwards. But we made sure that we had it on our bank accounts, so we could just get it at the bank accounts in Turkey as well. And then we just distributed it in lots of envelopes. So that's how we made sure that every family received enough money.
And how did you know how many families you were able to, how many envelopes you had to make?
We brought 200 envelopes with us, and we created 5 or 6 envelopes with just white paper as well. So our goal was to see 205 or 206 families.
All right. And how did the people respond when you came there with the envelopes?
They responded. It's unforgettable how they responded. Sometimes they just didn't want to take the money because, of course, these people are. Sometimes they just feel ashamed of their situations. They don't want to. They don't want to be in that situation. But most of all, they were thankful, and that makes me feel thankful as well. And I'm not speaking only for myself, but for the whole group. Yeah.
And why was it important actually to give it in cash? You say because we could give it directly to the people. Are they able to buy stuff, or what can they use it, or what will they use it for?
Yeah, that's a good question. In Turkey, unlike the Netherlands, it's really normal to have exchange bureaus in every street or in every corner. So these exchange bureaus, these exchanging places, they started opening up again. So we decided to give these people money in euro, which is a more stable currency. Exactly. So we decided to give them the money in euro, so they can decide themselves what they need. Every week, it changes every week. The products they need the most. So we wanted to give the power back into their own hands. Yeah.
You said a little bit about how people responded, and you also had something you told me earlier about a man who, by accident, received 2 envelopes. And what happened?
Yeah, so there was a father and a son, and they didn't know they received an envelope already. So we gave one to the son and one to the father separately. And we were in the place that we were donating the money was there were lots of mountains over there, so lots of dangerous roads, and there was actually only one road that was really drivable. So we took that road to go to the little places that they were living, and also on our way back. So this man, we gave him 2 envelopes. He was at one of the places that we were at the beginning of the trip. So on our way back, probably like 1.5 or 2 hours later, we saw him standing on the side of the road holding an envelope, and we were like, oh, we already gave this man an envelope, and he came to give an envelope back to us. So he told us, like, honestly, you already gave us an envelope and we received 2, and all the money was still inside it. And he said, like, yeah, there are other families that need the money as well. That gave all of us goosebumps. Like, these people, he could use the money really, really hard and really well, but he decided to give it back to give it to another family. That's something I will also never forget. Yeah.
And this was not the first time you were there. You were there before, a few weeks ago, to help also in an improvised medical hospital that you created with a few other medical students and people from the medical doctors from Rotterdam. That was at the University of Adiyaman. What do you remember from that first period of really helping and being like a doctor a bit?
Yeah, there were lots of people from Rotterdam and around Rotterdam, but also from Amsterdam and other places. There were doctors, nurses, and also medical students, out of which I am one. What do I remember of it? Yeah, I remember hearing at Thursday evening that I was chosen, or like I was selected to go to Adıyaman, or actually to Turkey in the first place. Which I was really thankful for, of course. What I remember is like it was like a war region, honestly. Lots of polices, ambulances, firemen.
Were there any buildings standing?
Yeah, there were buildings standing, but like most of the buildings that were still standing were at the point of falling apart. So it was not. They were not functioning. Like, they were empty.
Because for how long were you there?
I was there for 1 week. Yeah.
And you worked there. Were you? Did you have the feeling that you were really able to do something with your medical knowledge, etc.?
Yeah. Yes. Of course, I'm not a doctor yet, but sometimes in some situations you just need to do what you can. And obviously there were doctors as well, like general practitioners and people that were working, that are already working at emergency rooms. And sometimes when I felt like, okay, I need to give this man this medication or this medication, I would just ask one of the doctors, like, do you think I'm right? So it was not like that we were just doing something. It was like really coordinated, yeah.
And how were the circumstances there?
Hard. But still, there was enough food for everybody at that point of time. Like, people came from all over Turkey to distribute food as well. Like, I got to know some people that had a restaurant in Istanbul that came to give bread and simit. That's a very nice Turkish bread, and they just distributed that food to everybody there. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was cold also there, huh?
Really cold. Yeah, we were sleeping at -6, -7 degrees. Yeah, of course, we knew what we were doing it for, but like the hard part is that you also know that there are children sleeping at -6, -7 degrees, and that's it hurts me a lot when I think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then at one point, as you did today, but also the time before, you have to leave the people there and come back to the Rotterdam. And do you have a plan to go back there again? Are there any plans yet?
Right now there are no plans for me, but I know that lots of people of the group that we were there with, they want to go back. But it's not like we don't have like a straight plan as of yet. But it's possible that we are going back. Yeah.
And you're a medical student, and you chose this study probably with a very image of what you wanted to be, to become a doctor. Did this change anything, or just make it more stronger?
Yeah, my feeling of wanting to become a doctor has increased a lot, and I think this is what life is all about. Of course, I say we, but now I'm speaking for myself and probably also for all the other people. We chose this study with a reason, and I think this is what life is about. Yeah, just helping people that are in need. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
From Turkey, we moved to Rotterdam. On the Eerste Middellandstraat, some houses are nearly collapsing. In one of those houses, student Hazem Omran was living peacefully until last week. Welcome, Hazem.
Hello.
And how are you doing now?
I'm alright, yeah. I think it's just like a bit of a lot to take in, but you know, you just gotta live with it.
Yeah, I talked to you last week, and last week you were still positive and excited and, you know, like energized, but now you're a little bit...
Yeah, because I think it was just in the beginning of it still, because it had just happened recently. So I was still like, oh, like it's fun. Like I was sleeping over with my friend. Like, oh, it's like I thought it was all like, you know, just an event that's gonna happen for a bit. But yeah, like the longer it took, the more serious I started to see it for what it is. And yeah, I just, you know, also the shock effect, I guess, wore off, and then I started to come back to my senses again, and I was like, wait, like this is not, it's not a good situation.
Okay, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
Can you walk us through the evacuation?
Yeah, so basically on Sunday, I guess like around 5:30, 6 a.m., I hear this like very loud like knocking on the door. At first I was like still waking up, I was very like unconscious, I was trying to understand what's happening. I thought like, my first thought was that like the upstairs neighbor had a fire or something, so they were trying to knock like on the door. And then I opened like my room door, and I was going through the hallway, and like suddenly I hear this like three loud bangs, like really loud bangs. And then like the third one just like broke the door open. Yeah, and then I saw like a fireman come in, and then a cop come in. There were flashlights and stuff. And I was really, really scared at this point. I just looked at them, I was like, wait, what's happening? And then they were like, yeah, you should get out right now. Like, there's like, your house might collapse or something. And I was like, okay. And then I just grabbed really whatever I could grab, just my phone and a scarf and my jacket. And I just went downstairs. And then later on, I realized that they're like one of the neighbors right next to us. She woke up because of her fire alarm went off, and her whole house was basically full of smoke and dust.
Oh.
So she called the fire department because she also heard a loud thud like before that, and then all the smoke just filled her house. So she thought, yeah, of course something is wrong. She thought it was an explosion, so she called the fire department, and then they came and evacuated everyone around the whole site.
Yeah, and then once outside, you heard that you cannot access your house for a little while?
Yeah, so at first, like, when we went downstairs, it took a while for everyone to come downstairs and get evacuated, and then they started, like, coming to us and explaining the situation, so that, I guess, that took about 30 minutes or something. And then the whole house, like, the whole road was closed, like, there was fire trucks everywhere, cops everywhere. Like tapes blocking the road, so we're still trying to understand what's happening. And after that, they told us, yeah, like the house is at the risk of collapsing, and it's not safe for you guys to be there. And that's really all they said. And then slowly throughout the day, they started giving us more information.
Yeah, and then you could get a communal shelter if you don't have any place to go.
Yeah, so they told us that for the first day, if you don't have anywhere to sleep, they can organize organize for you to sleep in a gymnasium. Of course, like I had friends in Rotterdam. I also, like, my parents live somewhere else in the Netherlands. So I knew I had alternatives, and I chose, of course, to sleep with my friend rather than to the gym.
How's life after that?
Yeah, it's a bit difficult because, you know, like sharing a space with a person is not really ideal. Like, I'm also a person that likes my personal space a bit. So also my friend, we both just had different schedules. She would leave and I'd stay home. But we tried to make the best out of it, of course.
Yeah. And how about your landlord? Does he help you out properly?
So apparently, like what I knew from the person from the municipality there is that the owner or like the landlord should basically is responsible for giving you the like a housing alternative until it's fixed. But like for me at least, I didn't really need that, so I didn't ask for it for the first week. But I did say that if it's gonna take longer than like a week and a half or 2 weeks, then I would need like a place to stay, because I cannot really just keep going from one place to the other. And I know that one of the neighbors from like upstairs, they also have the same landlord. He like asked him on the spot, like right in front of all of us, and he like organized a place for him. But apparently he's saying now that the landlord is refusing to pay for it. So yeah, it's a bit of an
So it's been
situation.
more than a week for you?
Yeah, because it happened last Sunday. So I was out of the house last Sunday basically. And I was just allowed like to go in accompanied by a firefighter to grab the most important things like medication, laptop stuff. And then I was just asked to leave the site.
And how are you coping with this?
I'm really trying to stay positive about it. Like they said like this week that there is a chance I could potentially go back, because they evaluated the cracks and they said that it might not, like my building specifically is not too much at risk in comparison to the other one. So I'm really trying to hold on to this, hope.
Yeah. Well, keep the hope, and I cross my fingers for you. I hope you get back to your home pretty soon.
Hopefully.
Well, thank you for sharing your experience with us, Hazem.
Yeah, of course.
And
Thank
good
you so
luck
much.
with everything.
Thank you.
And we will end this show with a visit to what the residents claim to be the coziest student house. Lee and Lena will show you around in their house.
Today, Erasmus Magazine is gonna check whether the house who claims to be the coziest one in Rotterdam is actually cozy. Let's go and check.
Hey!
Hello!
Welcome to our house.
Thank you for having us.
So this is our living room and our kitchen. So we have a lot of couches here. Here we have our lovely fishies. So now we let them pick their own names by holding up like a little sheet with an alphabet, and then whatever letter they swam to, their names are Louis and Zoel. And this is my little art corner. I do the dual degree with VDKA. These are some of my drawings. And also, beside being a creative corner, this is also the collective study corner when we need some space and some clarity. This is also one of my favorite parts of the apartment. This is our bookshelf, our collective book collection. Back in November, we had a housewarming party, so we have a lot of leftover drinks. So this is our dining table, but also our study table. So a lot of the times we light a study candle, like one of these, and we just like study. We do try to organize roomy dinners every once in a while. And this is our cleaning schedule. Everybody has a task assigned for that specific week. So yeah, this is our kitchen. When we went to the house viewing of this house, this was actually the thing where I was like, have our little tea collection and a coffee collection also. This is our fridge, so everybody has one shelf. Now I will show you guys my room. Oh my gosh, that was so deep. So this is my room, and this is the smallest room in the apartment, and everyone comes in to use my mirror to check their outfits. And I have a couple of maps. That's Oslo over there. So I can climb up. This is my climbing closet. The last thing on this floor is the small bathroom, so I'll show that to you guys. So even though there's a shower in here, we mostly use this bathroom as a toilet. Okay, now I'll take you guys to see two other rooms. So this is my room. This is actually the only bedroom in the house that doesn't have a window. I only have a skylight. Yeah, I have my beloved plant. I think this actually makes the room, this plant. I have this painting, and I also have this painting, which my boyfriend made for me. So this is my DJ controller. I'm a singer, so I have my microphone. So this is our other roommate's room. Like, the carpet is the coziest thing about this room. But also, of course, we have the balcony. Our big bathroom. All of our bathroom stuff. We have a bathtub, but none of us have ever taken a bath. So unfortunately it's raining today, so It's not so nice on the terrace, but when it's sunny, it's super nice. I love to have my breakfast outside. But even in the winter, it's nice. Like, also, I go out there just like take mental health breaks.
So it's Lee, and then there's Alina, Fika, and me. We're all second year EUC students, and we all have very different majors, which is also why we have very different schedules.
What's the best thing about living together?
I think I love that we're like never alone, and also Lee's one of my best friends here, so like living with your best friend is pretty cool.
Thank you all for watching, and we will be back next month. And in the meantime, you can go to erasmusmagazine.nl for the latest news. Bye-bye.